champs are back and ready to rumble on the streets of Peoria. The 24th running of the Steamboat Classic. Next!
The 1997 Steamboat Classic broadcast is brought to you in part by your local Ford dealers, Caterpillar, the Peoria Area Convention and Visitors Bureau, and the companies that care, SEFCU, Lincoln Office, the Friends of the St. Jude Midwest Affiliate, the L.R. Nelson Corporation, OSF St. Francis Medical Center, and WEEK 25.
Money Magazine says Peoria ranks 288th among the 300 best places to live in the United States. We dare them to come here. Bradley University, Bradley Braves basketball, the boys' state high school tournaments, the Peoria Rivermen, the Peoria Chiefs, the Civic Center, the Paradise Gambling Boat, Grandview Drive. This city is vibrant and alive, and with the construction along the riverfront, it's going back to its roots. Well, the road sign here along the riverfront could read men and women at work, Glenn Latimer. Over 4,000 will participate in all the events going on here this morning.
Yes, the 24th year of the race, and it's a tremendous race. It's grown from its very small beginnings to a major community event, and it's now known worldwide.
158 participants back in 1974. We've got 4-mile races for the men and women, 15K, a walk. This has really grown. It's not just a running event anymore. It's really become a community event.
Absolutely, and the volunteer spirit is tremendous, and it's just year-round activities with the Illinois Valley Striders now, and this is the sort of kingpin of that.
I know the phrase to promote the race used to be the best little road race in America, but it's not little in terms of size, and it's certainly not small in terms of talent that comes back here each and every year.
Absolutely not. There's 22 Olympians, 17 countries represented in the elite field today. There's some real top-class world talent here. I always argue it's the best quality sporting event in Peoria, absolutely.
There are 8 former champions here today, 6 for the women. Let's take a look at who might have a chance at today's championship as we take a look at the Riders of the Storm.
Let's run down some of the leading contenders in today's field, brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Wearing number 3 today will be John Brown from England. He's just run 27:27 for 10,000 meters on the track, so he's in good shape. Number 6 is Khalid Khannouchi from Morocco, 2-time winner of the legendary San Blas Half Marathon in Puerto Rico. He has the strength. The question is, does he have the speed to stay with some of the track runners in this field? Wearing number 14 today is Het Thies from South Africa. He's a 2:08:30 marathoner, but he also has good leg speed, having run 27:58 at the Peachtree Road race last year. Wearing number 18 is Ignacio Fragoso, nicknamed Nacho from Mexico. He's just won 8 races in his home country, and he has great speed, 13:22 for 5,000 meters. And wearing number 31 is John Morapedi from South Africa, only 20 years old, but he was a semi-finalist at 5,000 meters at the Olympic Games last year. In the women's field, wearing F1 is Joyce Chepchumba from Kenya, the winner of the Steamboat Classic in 1996 and also winner of the London Marathon this year. F2 is Jane Amoro from Kenya, Steamboat champion in 1994, and early this year she was 10th at the World Cross Country Championships. And wearing F3 is Naoko Takahashi from Japan, who later this year will represent her country at the World Championships in Athens, Greece. She has very good speed with 31:48 for 10,000 meters and 15:23 for 5,000 meters behind her. F4 is Colleen de Ruyck from South Africa. She's been to Steamboat 4 times and was 3rd last year in the 1996 Steamboat event. She's also a 2-time Olympian, and last year she won the Berlin Marathon. And F5 is Lorna Kiplagat, a newcomer from Kenya. Only 23 years old, but with tremendous potential for the future. She's already run 31:54 for 10,000 meters. In the field today, we have 17 countries and 22 Olympians.
All right, there's a look at who could contend in this year's Steamboat Classic. Here's Steamboat's #1 fan, former mayor of Peoria, Jim Maloof. They've dedicated this race to you. How does that feel?
Wow. This is, it's really a tremendous, I'm humbled by it, okay? And it's a tremendous honor to be anywhere associated with this great event. It's, when we think of all of the wonderful things that are happening in Peoria, Race for Cure, Memphis to Peoria Run, and this, you know, 3 of the most renowned activities in the country. And to be a part of this with, you know, with Phil Lockwood and Glenn Latimer and Steve Shostrom, Peoria is the greatest.
Glenn, talk about Jim's involvement, how he came aboard in '85, and how he helped change this race.
He got involved as soon as he was mayor in 1985. Priscilla Welsh was brought into the race, a British Olympian, and Jim took a shining to her. He thought she was wonderful. She has a great personality. And he said, how can I help? And he did. He went out and got us a sponsor, and the next year we went to prize money, and it's been a big-time international race since, and Jim was a major part in that.
Well, congratulations.
Well, he's very kind, but you know, when you look at the volunteer activity, this awesome thing, this is not just a race. This has been years and years in the making and the planning. And what these guys and this group of people have done is just, again, it's remarkable. And now we've got building steam, which is something I really, really love, to see young people or anybody, you know, taking to running and getting into shape, building steam. I guess Peoria's been building steam for years, hasn't it?
You can quit the campaigning. You're out.
Oh, no.
His throne was usurped a little bit earlier this year by Bud Greaves, the new mayor of Peoria. He's wearing #1 today, and he's with our Sabrina Kang.
Mayor Bud Greaves is out. Hey, you're going to be running in it.
Good morning. It's a beautiful morning to run, isn't it?
Yeah, the weather's a lot nicer than past years. Did you bring the good weather?
Well, we brought a little cooler weather than we normally have for Steamboat, and there's a nice crowd here, and we're all looking forward to a big run today.
All right, Mayor Greaves, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck out there.
Thank you.
All right, a big challenge to everyone. Go out and run, or walk. All right. Back to you.
We mentioned to you that there are 8 former Steamboat champions here today. It's great to see Arturo Barrios back. It's his first appearance since he set the world record here in Peoria back in 1986. His time of 17:34 stood as the world record for 9 years until Josfat Machuca broke it in 1995. And welcome back to downtown Peoria, the 24th Steamboat Classic. Glenn, we spoke a little bit earlier, we alluded to the fact of the talent that keeps coming back year after year. And when you look back at the people who have been here, the people who continue to come back, there are some awesome names in running. First of all, Lameka Gouda, who we saw win the Boston Marathon this year. He was a winner here in Peoria.
That's right. He won in 1994. Last year's winner in the women's race, Joyce Chepchumba, won London Marathon this year. Our winner in 1987, Yobes Ondiki, became world champion. Our winner in 1991, Wanda Pamphil, became world champion. Arturo Barrios, our winner in 86, went on to become world record holder in 3 different events. Lorraine Moller won a bronze medal. Mark Platchus, who's here for the 10th consecutive year ever since he came to this country, was world champion. Just goes on and on and on.
And the thing is, some of the people that we see here today, we'll be hearing about them in the coming years at races across America and across the world.
Absolutely. We try and keep a balance between legends in the sport and upcoming talent, much like yourself.
Thank you very little. All right, Glenn is one of the people responsible for making this race what it is. So is Philip Lockwood, the race director. He's with our Sabrina Kang.
A lot of volunteers make Steamboat happen, but one man that's put his heart and soul into it is Phil Lockwood. How you doing?
Great today.
Yeah.
Looking forward to a wonderful race. You mentioned volunteers, almost 1,100 volunteers to help put the race on, led by our race committee that's about 60 strong.
You said that weather was pretty good today.
It's nice and cool, a little breezy, so we'll see how that affects especially the front runners, but those in the middle of the pack and in the 15K should be benefited by the cooler, windier temperatures.
All right, thanks for spending a minute with us, because I know how busy
Thank
you are.
you.
You've been up all night.
Yes.
All right, get a little rest.
All right.
All right.
Later.
And we're anticipating a good race because the weather is so cool.
All right, Sabrina, thank you very much. You know, Philip is the big honcho now, but he was a pretty decent runner in his day. A little Steamboat trivia for you. He has the 14th fastest time in 15K history here at Steamboat, a time of 47:40. Let's go take a look at the course, and we'll go full throttle with Neil Ninman.
Welcome to the starting line of the 1997 Steamboat Classic. Join me on a tour of the course today, a course that is the world's fastest 4-mile road race, and try to keep up with the boat. Let's roll out the map as we head up Hamilton Boulevard and into our first turn. Onto Monroe Street and into the near North Side neighborhoods. As we pass through the North Side neighborhoods, we're approaching the 1 mile mark. So we just got to keep in mind that we've got 3 more miles to go. Nearing the park, watch the lead pack start to pull away. We've entered Glen Oak Park and approaching the Ingersoll statue at the 2-mile turnaround. Many of the runners at this point will jockey for position to make that strong finish the final 2 miles down to the finish line. Stay with me as we race back towards downtown. Just past the 5K mark, we have less than a mile to go. Runners race through the Spalding Wall. Runners will be at full throttle as they make the turn onto Hamilton. It's all downhill from here. Well, we've made it close to the finish. Right now we're down Hamilton Hill, the fastest part of the race course, heading into our last turn. Kick it in and sprint to the finish. Phew, we made it. I hope you're able to keep up with the boat on our course tour today. You know, that really is the fastest 4-mile road race. Lee, back to you.
Man, is that guy fast. Thanks a lot, Neil. Hey, you better watch out for that Steamboat. You never know when it's going to dart down out of the sky. Right now, let's go to Sabrina Kang.
You know what? We have lots of heavy hitters here running Steamboat. Is this your first race, Congressman?
Oh, no, I've been doing this for a long time. This is, I don't know how many times but I've been doing it a long time. This is a great event. I enjoy it very much, and I enjoy running, so I love to participate in this race.
Are you having a hard time warming up? Because it's a little colder than it has been in the past.
You know what? I think this is the chilliest that it's ever been, and it's the windiest it's ever been. It's always usually hot and humid, but it's very windy today. But by the time we get up the hill here, we'll all be warmed up.
You know what? I think us Central Illinoisans will have an advantage over the Kenyans this year. What do you think?
I think that by the time we get to the top of the hill, we'll all be in the same boat. We'll all be sweating and hot and ready to go.
All right, well, good luck, Congressman.
Thank you.
A lot of heavy hitters at Steamboat.
All right, you can see the runners getting ready behind me. We're just moments away from the start of the 24th Steamboat Classic, and there are 3 folks here today who are kind of like the Cal Ripken Jr. of this race, trying to keep their perfect streak alive. Bev Enslow, Jerry Kokish, and Mel Schriefer have run in every Steamboat Classic. We'll be right back. We're only moments away from the start of the 24th Steamboat Classic. Glenn, it's a little bit cool out here for this today. Let's talk a little bit about the conditions and how they'll affect today's times and maybe whether those world records will be in danger.
Well, we've had very atypical weather all what's so-called summer we've had. It's probably about 60 degrees or around there at race time. It's not humid, so the only problem is it's a little bit windy, and as the runners go out, they'll be facing a bit of a headwind. But this course is fast enough, and we have the talent in it. The women's record is very, very tough. The men's record might be challenged today.
Josphat Machuca set the men's record, 17:24. Delilah Asiago, 19:28. Any thoughts?
I think Delilah's record will stay for a while. She was supremely fit when she did that. She was right at the top of her game. The men's record, I think, is capable of being broken today. There's some people in that field, John Brown in particular, who has a real shot at it.
The official conditions, 60 degrees, 56% relative humidity, and winds out of the northeast at 17 miles an hour. That headwind could be a problem on this early Saturday morning.
There's F2, Jaina Moro, former Steamboat champion in '94. Number 6, Khalid Khannouchi from Morocco. Here's number 5, Hezronot Wari, winner of the Boulder this year. F3's Naoko Takahashi from Japan.
And there's race founder Steve Sjostrom, still hard at work. Some of our friends from South Africa are back this year as well.
And Philip Lockwood, race director, is busy directing traffic. 2 former champions, number 20 Arturo Barrios and number 9 Martin Patayo.
There's some of that wind we were talking about. And boy, She looks like she's ready for this race. I wish I had that blanket because it's kind of cold up here. Whew.
Stu Regner getting them lined up. The last runners filling in on the front line there. The seated athletes get to go on the front. And we have a silent start at Steamboat. Stu Regner will wave the flag, and then the runners will be off.
The flag is up, and they're off and running. The 24th annual Steamboat Classic from high above Hamilton Boulevard. That's always a great shot to see the 4,000 plus runners and walkers here today.
The runners will go up Hamilton Boulevard for just over a quarter of a mile, then they make a right turn onto Monroe, and then they were going to face the headwind today, and if it's 17 miles an hour, that's going to be tough for them. Some of the leaders, on the far left is number 5, that's Hezronot Wari, winner of Boulder Boulder. Former champion number 9 is Martin Pitayo. Number 31 is South African 20-year-old John Morapedi. 18 is Ignacio Fragoso from Mexico. Number 6 is Khalid Khannouchi from Morocco. Number 3, John Brown from England.
3 Kenyans not here today, Glenn. Simon Rono, Dominique Karui, and William Kiptum couldn't make it.
Very frustrating because they couldn't get out of the country at the last minute because of a clash between the armed forces, which they belong to, and the Kenyan Athletic Federation, and they wouldn't let them out right at the last minute. It was very frustrating.
They were 3 of the gentlemen we expected to maybe contend for the title today. They are making the turn now onto Monroe and going right into the teeth of that 17-mile-an-hour wind, and it's John Brown out to the early lead, separating himself from the pack.
And John Brown seems to be having a go, whether it's blowing wind or not. He's going to have a go at the record. He looked at the course last night and he was pretty determined. He thought he could have a go at it, so he's challenging it right at the beginning.
John Brown from Sheffield, England. He is an Iowa State graduate.
Yeah, he's spent his time in the Midwest, and he was born in Wales, and now he's married to a German and lives in Canada. And he's about to have a baby who will be English, Welsh, German, Canadian.
Quite a combination. I'm sure he or she will be able to run. As we look at the ladies, it's Colleen DeRourke with the early lead.
She's ahead of Yelena Vyazova, Olympic bronze medalist, wearing the blue outfit. Right behind them is ISU performer Sue Daggett and Lorna Kiplagat from Kenya, a 23-year-old, right behind them.
You can see the ladies have to kind of pick and find their way through the men. At the front of the men's pack, it's still John Brown, but Khalid Khannouchi has made a move from the pack.
Obviously, Khannouchi thought that gap was getting a little bit too large, so he's moved up and separated himself from the others, and he's right behind Brown and tucking in. It obviously is windy because he's sheltering from the wind a little bit. Brown got sunglasses on, though it's not very bright today.
Let's go back and check out the ladies. It's still DeRourke at the front of the pack.
Vyazova tucked in with that track runner style right at the side of her in the blue. Then on the inside, Gladys Ondeo in the green. The tall lady wearing the red outfit, that's Lorna Kiplagat.
Now it's back to the men. It's Khannouchi who has now caught John Brown and is right on his heels.
Interesting contrast in styles. Brown barely lifts his heels very far, whereas Khannouchi has a good back kick.
They're approaching the 1 mile point on Monroe. We take a look at our map.
And the first mile is 4:28, obviously going into the teeth of a headwind. We'll be right back.
Whoa, that boat is flying low, and so are these folks, Glenn.
Yep, they're doing fine. Hi, nice to see you.
Yeah, one of the junior runners from the Proctor program. Here's a look at the big guys. It's John Brown still in the lead, but he's got company now.
Yeah, the group has reformed, and they're all tucked in behind Brown. He's doing the work, and they're behind him.
Colleen DeRourke from South Africa, still leading for the ladies, and she's opened up a stride gap there.
She's leading from Olympic bronze medalist Yelena Vyazova from the Ukraine, and behind them is young Kenyan athlete Lorna Kiplagat. Just ran 31:54 last weekend in New York Central Park.
Colleen's making her 4th straight appearance at Steamboat, and she is looking good so far. So is John Brown. He is in the lead with Khalid Khannouchi and several others right on his tail. One of the better-known local runners is Illinois Valley Strider of the Year, Barb Gertler, who has won her age group several times here at Steamboat, and now she's reaching new heights. Barb Gertler climbs mountains. She's also a 2-time defending Steamboat champ in her age group, but the running came second.
It finally dawned on me that maybe if we got in shape here, it wouldn't be so hard. So I started running, and only, like 2 weeks before we go to Colorado, I would really run a lot. And we got there, and it helped. And after about 2 years of that, I thought, well, hey, if 2 weeks of running helps me, maybe I should just run. And that really launched me. And I've run more and more and more ever since.
Barb went from summer trips to summit trips. Beginning with Kilimanjaro in 1986, Barb has now climbed the highest mountains on 6 of the 7 continents. The 7th summit, Mount Everest, 29,028 feet, the top of the world. Bad weather spoiled her first try in '94. And again last month, the weather forced her to turn around 4,000 feet shy of the summit.
On May 9th, the wind was over 100 miles an hour. So obviously I didn't. And had some things to do here. Came back home. I don't think I could handle bad weather and the mountain all at the same time. I knew for me it had to be nearly perfect. If I had stayed there 3 more weeks, I might have had another good chance. It wasn't strike one and you're out. You get to try again if you want. And I wanted to, but I didn't want to stay that much longer.
A year ago, Barb's climbing partners from her Antarctica trip got in trouble after reaching the Everest summit. 8 people in that party died, and her friend Beck Weathers lost a hand to frostbite. On May 9th of this year, the day she was supposed to make her summit attempt, 5 climbers died on Everest's north face.
It didn't really bother me to go down because I knew if the weather cooperated, I could go up again. The weather didn't cooperate for me, and I didn't get to go back up. But knowing about last year and knowing to mind the weather, we felt pretty good.
But she would have felt better if the weather had cooperated.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed because I had 2 goals in going. One was to finish the 7 summits. That's still a pretty small group of people who have managed to do that. And the other was, I actually would have been the oldest person ever to stand on the top of Everest. And so I didn't get either one.
Glenn, I had a chance to read the book by John Krakauer, Into Thin Air, about the Everest survival story, and it is something. She's a tough lady. And speaking of tough ladies, there's a couple of them right there.
Colleen DeRourke leading and looking really good, and right behind her is young Lorna Kiplagat. Lorna's a training partner of both Tegla LaRoupe, who's won New York Marathon and ran 2:21 at Rotterdam this year, and also Joyce Chepchumba, winner of the London Marathon this year and last year's Steamboat champion. Lorna going for water. Back to the men. John Brown leads, but he's got plenty of company now with John Morapedi behind him from South Africa, Fragoso from Mexico, Khannouchi from Morocco, and wearing number 17 on the outside is New Zealand Olympian Jonathan Wyatt.
That's Peoria's Woodruff High School behind the runners. They're getting ready to make their turn from Monroe on to Abingdon as we take a look at where the runners are, and then they'll go into Glen Oak Park for the turnaround.
That's always an important part because the runners reach 2 miles and they know that they're returning much faster, and today especially that will be true because they're going to have a tailwind when they get onto Madison. Brown leads, and in the women's race Colleen DeRourke leads from Kiplagat, and struggling to keep contact there is F1, that's Joyce Chepchumba, last year's champion and this year's winner of the London Marathon.
It's looking like a 2-woman race on the ladies' side.
Back to the men, and they're coming up to the turnaround by the Ingersoll statue. It's always fun to be the lead around here, and young Jonathan Wyatt is the one who leads them round, the young Kiwi.
8 runners in the lead pack as they approach the 2-mile point. That's as large a group as I can remember. We will have the 2-mile split for you in just a minute. Several of these runners have been here most of the week enjoying the flavor of Peoria and the camaraderie of the Steamboat Classic. They've done various things. They've gone to Wildlife Prairie Park, they rode on the Steamboat, and some of them even got to go out and play Peoria's brand new championship golf course, Weaver Ridge, and we asked them what they thought was tougher, the golf course or the race course.
I think the golf course is easier because you can make up for it from hole to hole and from shot to shot, whereas the race course is you just have one shot at it.
This is Mark's 10th straight shot at Steamboat since coming to this country in 1988, one of our favorite Steamboat people. More from the Steamboat Classic in a minute. And welcome back to lovely downtown Peoria and the 24th Steamboat Classic. Lee Hall and Glenn Latimer and a large group of gentlemen turning onto Madison Avenue.
8 athletes there, 6 of them are Olympians, 5 of them were at last year's Olympic Games. And Het Thies from South Africa, a marathon runner, is trying to push the pace as the runners are back now onto Madison and starting the long stretch for the kick back home. They should come back a lot quicker because they were 9:08 at 2 miles. That's not particularly quick, but now they'll have a tailwind, so they should really be moving on the way back. Let's see where they are on the course and identify exactly where they are on Madison Avenue.
And there you can see just exactly where the men are as they make their way down Madison Avenue toward the 3-mile marker.
Still Het Thies leading, followed by Ignacio Fragoso, nicknamed Nacho by his teammates.
11 years ago, it was Arturo Barrios running this race in a then world record time of 17 minutes, 34 seconds.
I guess, this is one of the races that really opened quite a few doors for me. I was, after, Peoria back in 1986, I started running 10Ks, 15Ks, half marathons, and I was winning quite a few races. Now I'm trying to come back. I'm obviously older, but I'm hopefully smarter, so I'm trying to come back.
I think the first Steamboat race I covered was 1986. It's great to see Arturo back here in Peoria.
Yes, it is, Lee, and look at this move being made now by Lorna Kiplagat as she closes on Colleen de Rugg. Just a few strides and she's level with her.
Long-legged Lorna.
Yeah, that's hard to say.
She has caught Colleen and they are running stride for stride. Back with the men, it's still Het Thies.
Yeah, he's run 2:08:30 for the marathon, and you can see how fast they're moving now. Number 18 is Ignacio Fragoso, and number 31 is John Morapedi. Tucked in behind them is Khalid Khannouchi, and John Brown just bringing up the rear of that group. 5 in it at the moment.
What's the strategy right now?
I think they're all just building up, ready for the last half mile. They're all looking around, checking each other out, just making sure, listening to each other's breathing. They all look good at this stage, so I think a winner's coming out of this lead group of 5 at this stage. The others have fallen off, can't maintain this pace.
Still a 2-woman race on the ladies' side. Colleen de Rugg, F4, and F5 is Lorna Kiplagat. We thought we would help you in the first step in becoming a runner, the most important step. That's buying a pair of shoes. Feet you wear. This is my planet. Just do it. It sounds so easy. Go to the store, buy a pair of shoes, and you too can run like the wind. Hold it. Let's go back to that buying part. How do you know what shoe is for you? Price, comfort, body, and foot type, all part of the equation.
Your $85 shoe across the board is going to work for most people. Beginners don't necessarily need to spend that much unless they have some real severe biomechanical problems, severe overpronation, where they need a little bit more shoe.
A large individual that overpronates, you want a good, strong, motion-controlled shoe. At the other end of that spectrum is somebody that has a very high-arched foot, where that type of foot does not absorb that pounding well. So they need a shoe that provides much more cushioning for that foot and the legs. But most of us fall in between, kind of somewhat of a motion-controlled shoe, but providing enough cushion also to absorb the lead that pounding.
Shoe technology for the next millennium. Feet you wear.
Where we're bringing the foot lower to the ground, getting a lower profile in the shoe, getting the foot closer to the ground, making it more stable. Trying to build a shoe around the foot, saying, well, the foot is a great structure on its own. I mean, it can absorb shock, it can stabilize itself, even with someone with a flat foot. If you watch someone with a flat foot run barefoot, their foot stabilizes itself. When you put that same foot in a real soft shoe lifted way off the ground, you see the instability then, you see the pronation occur. So we're really addressing the foot and taking shoes to basically the next level.
5 men in it, approaching 3 miles in 13:32, so we can look for a really fast last mile. Number 31, John Morapedi. Number 14 is Het Thies. Number 18 is Ignacio Fragoso. Number 6, Khalid Khannouchi, and number 3, John Brown. All of them looking good, all of them completely capable of winning this race, though you'd have to favor the speedsters, probably Morapedi, Fragoso, and Brown at this stage. Here we see runners still passing the turnaround point in Glen Oak Park. Everybody looking good and enjoying themselves. We'll be right back.
And they're ready to burn up the streets here in Peoria as they head toward the finish line. Hundreds upon hundreds of volunteers make this possible on a cold morning here in Peoria.
Everybody watching, including Fido, waiting for the leaders. And here's our lead women, Colleen de Rourke, we're in F4, and Lorna Kiplagat, still battling for the lead. Both look good, Lee.
It's just the two of them. Colleen third at Boulder earlier this year. Here's where they are right now, coming down Madison and getting ready to make that turn onto Hamilton. On the men's side, 5 gentlemen still with a chance at this title today, Glenn.
And all looking good. John Morapedi, the young South African, brought here courtesy of Cat Africa. He's looking really good. Back to Colleen de Rourke, another South African. 2 South Africans leading at the moment. And Colleen's starting to drop Lorna Kiplagat now. And she's coming up on a guy from Kentucky, Jim Estes, who's finished in the top 25 in the men several times. He's a good runner. He can break 20 minutes, run 5-minute pace. So Colleen's moving.
So are these guys.
John Brown starting to look good on the outside, wearing number 3. Still tucked in the back is Khalid Khannouchi from Morocco. He's taking a little shelter, just resting. Fragoso being an aggressor on the inside, number 18. Really pushing hard now. Fragoso's won 8 races back home this year. And he's back to his old form like in 1992 when he was one of the top runners in the world.
Back with the ladies, it's Colleen de Rourke, third at Boulder this year. She had another third-place finish at the Boston Marathon.
She's just got 2 or 3 steps now on Lorna Kiplagat. Lorna's trying to hang in there, stay tough. Back to the men. John Morapedi, followed by Ignacio Fragoso, followed by John Brown, followed by Khannouchi, and then Het Thies. 5 different countries, all battling for the lead. Colleen de Rourke leads Lorna Kiplagat. Again, Colleen is the aggressor. And sometimes victory goes to the aggressor. Passing 3 miles and looking good. Ready for this very, very fast last mile on this course.
Colleen looks like she's picking it up a bit. She was the number 1 road racer back in 1993.
The men have half a mile to go. Whoa, look at this. Here goes Khalid Khannouchi. Unbelievable surge there, Lee.
He has just broken away and left everyone behind with a half mile to go. Can he keep up this pace to the finish?
I don't know. I've never seen anybody put 30 meters on somebody inside 40 meters. He just got past the half mile to go mark and he just surged and he's gone. He's flying down Hamilton now. Tremendous acceleration. I didn't think he could do this because he's really a half marathon runner. It's unbelievable, Lee. He just ran that last quarter mile in 55 seconds. That's incredible running. That's one of the best tactical moves I've seen in this race in many, many years. He just really put the boot in with half a mile to go and he just blew this field away. This is a race he should not win. He's really a half marathon runner who has moderate speed at this sort of distance and he's gone and surprised everybody. Round the last corner onto Steamboat Classic Avenue.
Maybe not a lot of speed, but plenty of strength for Morocco's Khalid Khannouchi, putting the kick on with half a mile to go, and he is going to win the 24th Steamboat Classic going away.
Great win for Khannouchi. And he's followed in by John Brown and then John Morapedi. In 4th place, Het Thies just edges Ignacio Fragoso.
An incredible performance in the last half mile by Khalid Khannouchi. And now the ladies are approaching the half mile point, Glenn.
And it looks like Colleen de Rourke has broken away here. Running alongside her is Mexican Olympian Jesus Herrera. So you can tell that Colleen's doing really well. Half a mile to go and she's got 20 meters on Lorna Kiplagat. Looks like this is Colleen's race to win at this point.
Right now it looks like we could have 2 blowouts today, and that's really unusual, especially when we had 5 men together with half a mile to go.
It's interesting how the runners really know that this last stretch is so fast and that they can really push. And clearly Colleen's trying to get to this corner where she turns onto Hamilton to make this last push and to go on to victory. Lorna's around the corner. And Colleen's clear. Lorna's struggling to try and catch up. Quarter mile to go. And here comes Lorna now. You can suddenly see her accelerate in a few strides. She really lengthens her stride. And she's closing rapidly now on Colleen DeRook.
Colleen looks like she's fighting it a little bit right here.
Yeah, and looks like we're going to have we thought we got the winner in Colleen DeRook, and suddenly Lorna's passed her, and she's got 2 steps on Colleen DeRook now. So Lorna Kiplagat now flying down the hill, chasing Jesus Herrera. And a response now from Colleen DeRook, trying to stay with her. It's maybe about 200 meters to go to the finish, and 2 of them now, shoulder to shoulder.
Lorna's a marathon runner too, and just like Khalid, she is making a bid here at the finish, a strong finish, making up distance, and she has the lead as they turn onto Steamboat Classic Avenue.
Usually the winner is the one who gets to the corner first. The ladies finish to the left, and it's a tremendous sprint finish as they head towards the finish. Lorna Kiplagat just has the lead, and Colleen DeRook on the inside, sprinting for the victory. And great running by both of them. 2nd and 3rd fastest time in history, and in 3rd place, last year's winner, Joyce Chepchump. An amazing 1 minute 54-second last half mile gives Khalid Khannouchi the victory. A great performance today. But in the women's race, a really close race with the 2nd and 3rd fastest times in Steamboat history. We'll be right back.
Lee Hall and Glenn Latimer back in downtown Peoria for the 24th Steamboat Classic. More folks heading for that finish line. There's our friend Amy Vanaken skipping to the finish line today.
People applauding, and there comes Bob Gertler. Let's go now to our own Lee Hall, who's with the winner today, Khalid Khannouchi.
We're with men's 4-mile winner Khalid Khannouchi. Congratulations, a great last half mile for you today.
Thank you very much.
Tell me about your strategy going into this race today.
My strategy was to run with the pack lead because it was windy today, and I know that I have a good kick, so that's what exactly I did last 800 meters.
Yeah, what early in the race when there was a larger pack and it looked like John might run away with things, what was going through your mind then?
I know that John now is in very good shape, so I was paying attention to him. That's why exactly he was put in away by himself. So I follow him, and we stayed together for almost 1.5 miles. Then the other pack caught us. Then it's like we were running together.
Were you surprised that you were able to pull away from the pack by such a large margin there at the end?
Yeah, I wasn't surprised because I was feeling good, and if they were running a little bit fast, I think that I will go today for the course record. But anyway, I came to run well to win, and I'm happy with my victory.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
And here come the junior steamboaters. Look out, you know, these Illinois Valley Striders, they recruit them young. Getting kids to run. Are you kidding me? How do you get them to stop? Now, getting them all to run in the same direction at the same time, that's doing something. Something the Illinois Valley Striders have been doing since 1989.
The first night, I bet we had like maybe 15 kids. And then it's just now we've been getting like 150.
Every Monday night at the Proctor Hospital track, you'll find them. Moms, dads, grandmas, grandpas, and little ones, all together for a little jog, with the emphasis on participation.
Our goal here is to keep it non-competitive. Some kids by nature are more competitive, obviously. That's not what we want. We don't want the Little League syndrome. We want this fun. We want kids to want to come out here. We want them to look forward to it, and we don't want it to be pressure.
3 different races, ribbons, juice, and a cookie for all runners.
Well, you know, some of us, we can live vicariously through the successes of our children, and that's what we're here for tonight. It's all for the kids and to see how much fun they're having.
Yeah, good job, 21-16.
That's what's exciting for the kids. I mean, they got the timer up there, they get the numbers, and, you know, and that's exciting for them. A ribbon for every kid, all that kind of stuff. The organization of this, I mean, in terms of putting this together in about 20 minutes time before the whole thing starts and running these heats and getting it going without any mass confusion or commotion or anybody missing the race, you got to hand it to the people who coordinate. They do a real nice job.
A nice job that makes for a whole lot of fun.
It's good exercise.
Yeah? Do you like the apple juice too?
Yeah, it's delicious.
What kind of cookie is this?
Chocolate chip?
Yeah. Can I have some?
A disappointed Lee Hall there. Lots of different participants, including 90-year-old Charlie Vonjevich. Let's join Lee Hall now with our women's winner today, Colleen de Ruyck from South Africa.
All right, I'm getting slower, but I've caught up with Colleen de Ruyck, the women's winner. Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
It was in doubt until the last moment there today, wasn't it? Tell me about your race.
We went out not as hard as we normally go out, I think because we were in a headwind the first 2 miles. So we were trying to tuck behind some guys, but then they go too slow, so you carry on going. And then from mile 2 to mile 3, Lorna Kiplagat caught me, and so we were doing our surges down there, and I thought, well, I'll just try and stick with her. And then I had at mile 3, I had a few steps on her, so I thought, okay, I'm in the front of the race so far, let's just try and keep it there till the end. Down the hill she came, I just heard those footsteps, tip, 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 tip. She caught me, she overtook me, so I just sat on her shoulder, and she came around the bend, she was in front, and I just thought, just give everything you've got till the finish, and I managed to pip her, so it was great. It's always, wonderful to win a race, because you really put so much work and training into running. It's quite a hard sport, physically on your body, so, it's good when you have paybacks like this. Makes it all worthwhile.
Like a glass of that water, please, Denise. It's thirsty work today out there. One of the finishes today was number 1 from Peoria's new mayor, Bud Greaves. Happy to finish. And former Peoria mayor for the last 12 years is Jim Maloof, for whom the race is dedicated this year, and he's still out there applauding finishers and doing a great job in supporting the race. Winning the 15K from Mexico, Pablo Cerrone, and the women's winner today was local person Peggy Shadid, a very popular win.
Well, Glenn, let's talk a little bit about the men's race. Khalid Khannouchi really put the hammer down there in the last mile and took over this race and blew the pack away.
Absolutely. The 5 guys in it with a half mile to go, and they all stood a good chance of winning it. And suddenly Khalid Khannouchi was gone. He ran really fast, 1:52 for the last half mile. He just surprised everybody, jumped on them. He got 20-yard lead in 40 yards, and he was gone. And nobody could catch him then because they were all running so fast down Hamilton.
Is that one of maybe the best performances down the stretch, maybe since Mauricio Gonzalez passed Mark Platches?
I think it was one of the most exciting because he really is a strength runner. He's a premier half marathoner, and for him to win at 4 miles, it was great tactics. He beat some guys who were way faster than him just by a great tactical move.
Did the wind have anything to do with keeping us from world record? A shot at a world record today?
Absolutely. I think the first half was slow because they were battling the wind, and John Brown may have paid for it. He tried to push the pace and tried to get away from everybody, and he couldn't because of the wind. And then it became a tactical race, and it became really interesting. Several people had to go on Madison to try and win it, but it was down in the end to a wonderful move by Khannouchi.
The women's finish was probably one of the best we've seen in their race, maybe ever.
Oh, yeah, definitely. As close as we've ever had. We had the 2nd and 3rd fastest times in history, and you could literally throw a blanket over them at the end there. And Colleen de Ruyck from South Africa just edged out Lorna Kiplagat by that much.
All right, that's it for the 24th Steamboat Classic. We'll see you next year for the silver anniversary.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to that. 25 years. It's a long time we've been doing this. It feels longer. And also the Roadrunners Club of America National Convention here.
All right, don't miss the boat.